Midlife crisis. Well, when do they start? Who has them? Why do we have them? Are you in one now? I think first up we've got to address males and females. Women, I think it's fair to say, genuinely have, maybe some would argue this, but a genuine midlife crisis. They go through a far more dramatic change than us men do. If you're going through the menopause, not only can you have quite a long run up to that, where not kind of your personality can even change, but certainly your body, how you feel, your health, massively your mood, because we're all running on chemicals. And then you go through a change that is a change while you're changing, but then you have a changed body. You genuinely have changed. In fact, women I know, they're on hormone replacement to try and kind of rectify some of the real negatives of that change. And I guess as a naturalist, we live way longer than we would be expected to. You know, most animals don't live past breeding age and then go on to have a long life after their reproductive age is gone. Most animals are lucky to reproduce, and if they get that far, they're not going to reproduce until their body literally can't anymore. They're going to die of starvation, accident, or most probably something's going to eat them. So we live a very, very long time. But midlife crisis, taking aside women's, what a problem. Well, it probably is a problem actually, but the difficulties that women literally do go through, no argument whatsoever. Women have a midlife crisis, even if for them it isn't a crisis and it's just a natural thing, and hey ho, didn't really affect me. When you look at the seriousness of that, maybe compared to us men, and yet us men are very often targeted as, always having a midlife crisis, almost we kind of, on the face of it, don't really have any excuses for it. We don't, we're luckier. I think we're luckier. We don't have such a dramatic change put upon us, and yet we do have a midlife crisis. Now, I don't think I've having a midlife crisis, but I think things have happened, and people are saying to me, "Oh, Dave, you're having a midlife crisis." So when I was in my 30s, I was very briefly a naughty boy, and a lot of people said that was a midlife crisis. No, it wasn't. It was just unfortunate silliness and circumstantial. Most midlife crises in men would be targeted, you would say, something like 40 to 55. A man might have his midlife crisis. Is it a real thing, or is it just other blokes and women taking a mickey out of us if we happen to do something that we might have been more likely to have done when we're younger? Or is it a real thing? Well, it's both. So, classic. This is so classic midlife crisis, and yet not at all. My son needed some space on his drive. He brought an old soft-top sports car to do it for 2 years. Never got round to it, rotting away even more on his drive, needed some money. So I said, I'll buy it off you for what you paid for it. I'll do it up and I'll sell it. And I'll give you, if I sell it for like a decent profit, I'll give you a bit of that. If not, have all the money you paid for it, and I'll get back what I spend on it to get rid of it for you. Anyway, it's a little MX-5, a car I like my cars and bikes, a car I never would have ever considered. I started looking into them to find out all the pros and cons of common faults, what I'm most likely going to discover, mostly rot in them things. Brought the car home, and my wife arrived home 2 seconds before me. She dropped me off in her car. I kind of followed her home in the winter in this old Mazda MX-5 that was a piece of poo at the time, but now it looks dynamite. I got out of it with the grin on my face, and my wife said, "Gee whiz, this is not a good sign. I haven't seen that grin on your face since you got rid of your last fast motorbike. What's going on? You're not, that bloody car's going to be on our drive forever now, isn't it? You're not going to sell that." And I did say, drive my van around all the time. I've not had a bike or a car other than my van for a long time, 15, 16 years. And I said, wow, yeah, it was fun to drive something fun. Anyway, 650 quid investment, well, payment to my son to help him out, turned into about a £2,800 bill by the time the car was looking tip top. And that's what it's worth, £3,000, absolute tops. Yeah, and I kind of put a lot of love and time into it. It looks really nice. I thought, I'm going to keep it now. Was that a midlife crisis? Not really. I didn't go and look for one. I didn't suddenly wake up and think, I want a sports car and I want to wear a baseball cap over my bald head and drive around in a sports car because I'm old, I don't know what to do with myself. It wasn't on my radar at all. It just blossomed from putting a lot of time and love into it, thinking, you know what, I'm not just going to sell that now just to get my money back. I've put all that love and time into it. I quite like it. I'll keep it. And my wife and I enjoy going out in it, having picnics and doing what old people do, having midlife crises. Anyway, by the by, on the same note, just a few months later, a really good friend of mine, Kev, said, Dave, I've got a GSX-R 750. You know, I've had it a few years. It's a bit tired. I don't want to deal with people. I'm getting another new motorbike. I don't want to deal with people. Do you want it? No, Kev, I'm never getting another motorbike. My wife will kill me. And those days are gone. When I was younger and my brain worked better, whoa, nearly ran into the back of a tractor. And he said, Dave, just take it off my hands. Give me 500 quid towards a new bike. I went, Kev, just sell it, mate. It's worth 3 times that. Dave, I don't want to deal with people. I'm going to bring it round. Oh, well, that caused me stress because I knew I had to break it to the wife. I thought, well, you know, I enjoyed doing it at the Mazda. I haven't done mechanical things for a long time. It'd be nice to take this tired bike, strip it down completely, deep clean everything, rebuild it, service it, and so on. I'll get a lot of therapy. I do enjoy that sort of stuff, mechanical stuff like that. Anyway, of course, my neighbours have been watching me doing this. Some of them are a bit younger, and they've been saying, what's going on? You having a midlife crisis number 2? Started with a convertible, now you brought, and somebody didn't know that I was into motorbike, now you brought a motorbike. Oh my God almighty. So, it's not a midlife crisis. Honestly, it's just circumstance. Sounds like I'm BSing now, but just 2 circumstantial things. However, working on the bike has taken me back to when I was 25 to 35. I'm using tools, not the same kind, the exact tools that I worked on Suzuki GSX-R 750s and Fireblades in my late 20s to early 30s, the same tools. I'm finding out about them and learning stuff about modern day, what the lads are getting up to now. Apparently wheelies and knee-down riding and all the stuff you do when you're a young hooligan. Oh no, that's frowned upon in the UK now, and you'll lose your licence and go to prison. So things have changed a little bit there. The roads are kind of potholed, but I'm going off topic. But I will tell you this, and I'll be brutally honest. It has, after quite a few years of deep stress with my wife and I and various things, it has actually made me feel quite young, or it has made me feel younger. It honestly has. Hold on, got to open the gate. Okay, we're in. So, yeah, you know, there's been a therapy there. It has made me kind of feel a bit younger, that yeah, there is a bit more to life than just solid work. But why do men go through midlife crisis? Is it a thing, or is it just people taking the mick out of us just because we dare to kind of do something that we might have done when we were younger? No, it is a thing. It is a thing. It is an actual thing, and I think this is what happens. A lot of men, this is what happens. We're young, we do young stuff, and then we settle down, we might get married and we have children, but we might still be in our 20s or early 30s, so we're still doing some of that young stuff. And as our children get older, we might be earning more money, but we start spending more money on the family. Often we're renovating or doing up the home. We're putting more money into our kids, and I don't even think a lot of us do this on purpose. We just end up working harder and harder, certainly in the UK, harder and harder and harder. And we chop out the real fun stuff because we see it as an excess or selfishness. So for me, I started up self-employed many years ago. First thing I did was get rid of motorbikes. It was an excess and a money sink that I couldn't justify. I'm trying to start out on my own. I've got to provide for family. I'm taking a risk, so I've got to cut all my selfishness out so the risk doesn't fail. I need every penny I can to make this little business successful. And certainly if you sort of climb a corporate ladder, you end up putting a lot of time in, and you might go and do golf with the buddies and that kind of thing. You might go and watch your kids playing football or other things like that. But the thing is that's totally selfless. You are doing that for your children. The golf becomes networking at work. It's not just a real fun thing. The real fun things you cut out. You become work. You become more serious. You become more about providing for the family and going places as a family. You know, so I don't mean going on holiday, but that's another thing. But sort of the security. And then often, when you are around 50, that sort of age bracket is when your kids will bugger off to uni, or they just leave home, get a job, and if you're lucky, they leave home and start finding their own way in the world. And all of a sudden, those responsibilities kind of have diminished. Now, your kids are always coming back for stuff and help, but you're finding yourself, I'm just working really hard. Everything's about work. I've cut out all the fun things. That was all of yesteryear. And you start to think, why am I working like this? I don't need to be working like this. We can always have more money and buy newer things and bigger things, but the kids are self-sufficient. The wife's doing well in her job maybe, or the husband, depending on this. I'm sort of talking from a man's point of view. And you start to think, oh, who am I? What am I? You look back and you think, I've had more now than I'm going to get. More years are gone. Way more years are probably gone than I'm going to get while I'm able-bodied and fit and healthy. What am I? Am I just a wheel in a cog in a machine? Is that it? Kids don't really need my money as such. They don't need as much help. Start doing things. You know, my wife and I have done so much stuff together. You think, I used to go and do stuff. I just want to spend, I think like a lot of older men, I just want to spend nearly all of my time with my wife. But there's that bit of you that says, just work. I want to do something fun. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to just go fishing? Wouldn't it be nice to have a motorbike that I can just think, do you know what? I really don't have to do anything today. My wife's doing something else. Why don't I just go out and have fun? Actual fun. When did that disappear? Actual proper belly laughing fun for no good reason. And I think that is a lot of men. There is a genuine midlife crisis. They literally, for me, it's the time thing that terrifies me. Way into your 30s, time means nothing. Oh, I've got all the time in the world. Do that when I'm older. When you get to your 40s, it starts to eke in. When you're in your 50s, yeah, I can see what it's all about. You are literally thinking, well, my friend Jay said, what have we got? If we're lucky, 20 good years, and then maybe another 10 reasonable years on top of that, if we're really lucky. And when you then think, we've both been married maybe around 30 years, and that's gone in a flash. We're not married together, by the way, me and Jason. He's married to his wife, I'm married to my wife. But 30 years. I haven't got a good 30 years left in me like that. It's actually quite scary. And I think that's what the genuine male midlife crisis comes from. The sudden awareness. What's it all about? What's it all for? Where am I going? Panic, even for some men, I think, sets in. I need to do something that's, for me, that's fun. I need to have fun again. I need to feel a bit of freedom, not just working in this machine. It's cogging a wheel. I don't know why I keep saying that, but you know what I mean. And I think that's when men do go, I'm going to buy a fast car. Because, hey, now I can afford a Porsche. I couldn't when I was 30. I'm going to buy a fast bike. Literally, born again biker. It's a saying. Literally, people that had bikes when they were younger didn't have them for more of their grown-up years, and then suddenly think, I want to get a bike again. They were fun. not realising their eyesight's not as good, their reactions are nowhere near as good, they're not as strong, most of us. And born again bikers are the bikers that get killed quite a lot and have a lot of accidents because they still think up here, of course, being a man and the egotistical things we are, you know, I can do that, I can do that, I did that, I used to be brilliant. And they don't gradually warm up to the fact like they did when they first got a bike, they learned and got better. They think they jump on that bike and they're the same 25-year-old. You can see how it can all go wrong. But yeah, tell me your own thoughts, male or female. If you're a lady, I hope the intro and the talk about menopause wasn't something that didn't come off as anything chauvinistic. It certainly was not meant to be. And if you're going to say, oh, I've not had a problem at all, that's great. A lot of women I know, it's a proper midlife crisis. Even if they don't feel in crisis, there's an awful lot going on of change. And the point was, us men, we kind of, on the face of it, don't have any excuses. But when you look deeper, men aren't that good at talking to their wives always or to their mates about things. When you look deeper, a lot of men suddenly have an abrupt panic of, Christ, my time's running out. And I don't do massively fun for the sake of it things anymore. I've got a bit of money now. I'm going to buy a speedboat or a Porsche or whatever. And I think that is where it comes from. But comment below. Do you feel you've had a genuine midlife crisis? Are you having one now? Are you panicking now and you didn't realise you're having a midlife crisis? Comment below how you're feeling. Has it happened to you? Do you believe men have midlife crises? And if you think you have had one, comment below what did it entail? On that note, obviously, one of them, worldwide for men, is cheating on their wives with vastly younger women. Often that is a midlife crisis, or, like my motorbike thing, put down as a midlife crisis when, again, it may have just been circumstantial, egotistical, stupidness, and the man was not feeling in any way like he was having a midlife crisis. Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. Catch you later.